Hello guys, this is Mike from McProgramming.org. I'm going to talk about constructors today. What a constructor is a method within a class. It's going to be, I'll just start writing it out as I explain. And this, it'll always be set up like this. It'll be public and they will not have a return type at all. And then it has to be called the same as the class name. So we're going to say public name, and for now we'll leave empty parameters and then open and close brackets. Pretty much what a constructor is when you instantiate an object out of a class. For each object, this can initialize certain values for the particular object. And for this example, I'm just going to have a name object, and for each instantiation of this class of a new object, we're going to give it a new name. So I'm going to show you how to, well, first let's just see if this works. So system, capital S, system.out.println, and we're going to say constructor works, exclamation point, because we're excited about that. Alright, let's instantiate name and see what happens. So let's say name, and we'll just say lowercase name, call it that, equals, this is where the instantiation takes place, new name, and since there's no parameters, we'll just keep that like that. And because you're instantiating name, the constructor should automatically run, which means it should print constructor works at the bottom. So let's see what happens. Hopefully I don't embarrass myself. Okay, there we go, it works. Alright, so every time that we create and instantiate a new object, we want to initialize it. We don't, not every case, but for the most part, you want to initialize with some type of, numbers or names or whatever the case may be. In this particular case, we want to use the name. So to take in a parameter right here, let's set up here a variable, a private string, and we're going to call it name. So right in here, we're going to say string name, or whatever you want to call that, and that is the parameter it will take in here. So right here there should be an error, yep, and there it is, because let's see what it says, add argument to match name with a string in it. So I'll just fix this in here. Pretty much what we're going to do is say this dot name, and this is referring to the class. So the name right here, this name equals name, and we're pretty much saying that the name that is put into the parameter here will be set into this variable. And to show that it works, let's just system.out.println name. Okay, so just to keep our object names so we know what we're referencing, to make life easier, I'm just going to put it like that, name it Mike, and put in the name Mike. Makes sense. So let's see if it works. So I took in that name right there. Let's take this out. You can put in multiple parameters, like let's just say int age. Let's also give it a private int age up here, and we can say this dot age equals age. If you don't like using the word this, that's one of the customs I use. You can, these don't have to be the same word. Let's say int years old. It's a weird thing to write, capital O. we can say age equals years old, and it'll still be correct. It'll still put whatever you put in this part of the parameter and put it into this. So, but the way I like to do it is this dot age equals age. Switch this back. An error because now it's expecting an int. I am 27 at the moment, I believe. No, who knows anymore. Once you go over 20, you forget your age. But I'll just say 27. And let me add a toString method. Let me see. So do a shortcut. Source, generate toString, and we're going to use the name and age. And there we go. I'll explain, maybe I'll go over a toString in the next video, but pretty much what a toString is it's a method that returns a string, and it will be a string representation of your object. Or else, if you just tried to print out Mike, you're probably going to get some type of hexadecimal memory address or something like that. But with a toString, it sets it up for you already. So if you look at it right here, what it's going to do is it's going to return, it's going to say a name object, and name equals, and then the whatever is in this. So however you instantiate that, then the age. So let's just run this and see what happens. System.out.println Mike, yeah, Mike lowercase. Okay, so there we go. There's other ways you can create constructors. You can have multiple constructors for an object. Let's just say public name. We're going to leave this one blank. And let's see. There's really no point to that, but we can just leave everything blank. We're not instantiating anything. So let's say public name string name. Say this dot name equals name. Alright, so let's instantiate another name with that parameter. Say name Dustin, good friend of mine, equals name, and we'll just put in Dustin. Let's see what happens when we print out that object. Okay, so if you notice, it automatically puts in a 0 for the age, and I'm assuming if I don't put in any parameters, it's probably going to say null for the name. So let's try that out real quick. Name Maya equals new name, and I'm going to leave empty parameters for the blank constructor. And let's print that out and see what happens. Yeah, so you're going to get a null and a 0, but there are cases where you don't want to necessarily initialize a constructor, but most of the time you do. And that's what makes an object unique, is initializing it to have the characteristics you want. And that's the end of this tutorial. Please subscribe to my videos, McProgramming, and I am thinking about maybe doing a video on what static means, and maybe how to do toStrings. I just did a generic toString, but you can customize this however you want, so I can do that. And I also want to get into maybe doing some math video tutorials. I'm not, a math wizard, but I feel like I'm decent enough to go over some basic stuff and have some fun with that. And if you want to get into the computer world, I did not know this at first, but you end up doing pretty much nothing but math classes. So get used to it. And thank you for joining me, and y'all have a great night. And please subscribe to my videos, like I said. And my name is Mike at mcprogramming.org. Thank you.